March 2nd, 2020. I would ask that you all please rise for a brief invocation to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, as we gather at the heart of the ending of the winter season, we're ever mindful of the many challenges and sadnesses that have surrounded our world in the last few weeks. Certainly, we are all praying for a quick resolve to the coronavirus that is plaguing the world, and certainly we admire all the steps that are being taken by the governments around the world and by our local area in trying to ensure that we protect our citizens from this. We are also mindful that this past week we had several deaths in the community, one involving Jason Prescott, who was the director of operations, baseball operations for the Batavia Boys Baseball. He was a dedicated, hardworking lover of our community, a father of 4 children, and he died very unexpectedly in kind of a tragic situation. We are ever mindful that we ask for a special blessing to his family, and we are ever mindful for the ever strong outpouring of support and sympathy that was shown to his family over the past weekend when we had probably one of the largest funerals we've had in Batavia in many years. Certainly, I think it was a tribute to him and his good work in our community. So we are ever mindful, and we just ask that a special blessing be showered upon his family. Tonight, as always, we want to remember those from our community who are serving in foreign soil in defense of the liberties of the United States of America, and we just ask that a special blessing be shown upon each and every one of these men and women as they go about their vital mission of defending our liberties and protecting the world. Tonight, as always, we ask for guidance and direction and understanding as we act on the items of business before us, knowing that in the hearts and minds of each member of the City Council, we are all here to do what we feel is in the best interest of Batavia and its future. We ask for a guidance and understanding, and we just ask that it be showered beyond our meetings to all those in our community who are facing delicate decisions, and that everybody rises to the occasion and tries to do what, in the end of the day, is in the best interest of the community. We ask for all these blessings. Amen. Alderman Knopp, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Miller.
Here.
Rosado.
Here.
Beck.
Here.
Knopp.
Here.
Chansett.
Here.
Wolf.
Here.
Barron.
Here.
O'Brien.
Here.
Callahan.
Here.
Meitzler.
Here.
Malay.
Here.
Ewer.
Here.
Cerrone.
Here.
McFadden.
Here.
Okay, we have present in the room 12 aldermen, and we have 2 aldermen on the phone. And do we need a motion to allow them to attend the meeting by phone?
No, you just only if there is opposition.
We don't have any opposition. Okay. So, Alderman Netzler, and you're with us in voice and mind and decision-making, so nobody's opposed your presence on the phone tonight, so welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay, moving then to item 4, which is our meeting reminder that we ask anybody that's going to address us tonight to please come forward and use the microphone, because as we all know, we are on Batavia TV, and we got to make sure that those watching this on TV both tonight and in the days ahead will be able to hear everything that's being said. Moving to item 5, are items to be removed, added, or changed on tonight's agenda. Alderman Chansett, as Governmental Services, do you have anything this evening?
Your Honor, I'm not aware of any.
Anybody else? Okay, nothing to be added or changed. Moving then to item number 6, which is presentation of tonight's consent agenda. Alderman Chansett.
Your Honor, the consent agenda reads as follow. Accept and place on file the Committee of the Whole minutes for January 28th and February 4th, 2020, the December 2019 City Council Financial Report, and for approvals, the February 21st, 2020 payroll in the amount of $917,225.02, the accounts payable check register in the amount of $635,688.44, City Council minutes for February 17th, 2020, the 2019 budget transfer, carry forward, and reconciliation, Ordinance 20-19, amending Title I, Chapter 11, Section 2 of the Batavia Municipal Code Investment Policy for Public Funds. Resolution 20-37-R, City of Batavia to adopt investment policy for public funds. Resolution 20-38-R, authorization to purchase two 2020 Ford trucks from Bob Riding's Fleet Sales for $80,668. Ordinance 20-20, declaring certain property to be surplus and authorizing sale thereof. Resolution 20-40-R, approving a contract with Standby Power System Consultants, Inc. to install inverters at the Northeast, Southeast, Cherry Park, Main Sub, and McKee Substation in an amount not to exceed $33,660, which includes a 10% contingency. Your Honor, I would move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanzat, second by Alderman Knapp for the approval of the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Chanzat.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosado.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Consent agenda is approved, 14 yes, no no's, and none absent. Moving then to item number 7, which are matters from the public for items that are not on the agenda. Do we have anybody this evening? All right. Next, one of the nice things we do every year, we have some representatives, I'm told, from the post-prom party for Batavia High School here. Would you guys come up and meet me at the podium and ask Chief Ewell if you'd come up too? Maybe ask you to introduce yourself so we know who it is.
My name's Amy Cole. This is my friend Julie Kananishu. We're new to this post-prom committee this year, so we're just kind of getting started and getting our feet wet. So you probably remember Amy Nelson was here doing this last year, Tina Bleakley, and Kathy Dremel. So thank you
They
for
were here for
inviting
many
us.
years.
I know. Time for them to have a break.
Well, as is always the case, many, many years ago, the city council, at my urging, adopted a policy that as we conduct liquor compliance checks in the city of Batavia, or we have calls involving violation of liquor laws by underage individuals, and there are fines in any one of those events that are produced, that money is specifically appointed and put and deposited in a special city account for the business of using it to employ alcohol and drug education and activities that will hopefully have a drug-free and alcohol-free experience. And probably none rises to the occasion as visible and as worthy, in my opinion, as does the post-prom party that's done every year by Batavia High School at Funway after the prom. I had the opportunity to go to it last year and help present the presents. I didn't get out of there till after 3 o'clock in the morning, but it was a very memorable occasion and most worthwhile. So we have Chief Ewell here because it's his department that basically raises the money, so to speak. They go out and do compliance checks once or twice a year on every license in town to ensure that nobody is not following the codes and is serving minors liquor, and unfortunately, we have some that slip up. And so then we have a meeting with myself, and they get about a $500 reminder that they need to pay closer attention to the business at hand. And if they were a repeated offender, then they get more than a $500 reminder, and they may even get discussions about the revocation of their license. So we, I think, take this very, very seriously. And so, Chief, if you want to come up and present. Scott?
On behalf of the City of Batavia, I'd like to present you with these funds. We're glad that they can go towards providing an environment that is safe and alcohol and drug-free.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your help. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just for the record, that we just gave him $3,000. So, okay, moving to item number 9. I'm very pleased tonight and honored in the spirit of intergovernmental communications and relationships, that we have a delegation here from the Batavia Park District to do a presentation to us about their proposed activity and recreation center. And their executive director, Allison, is here front and center, so I'll turn it over to you and let you do all the talking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. Thank you for the invitation to be here tonight. We really appreciate it. With me tonight is Jim Eby, the Director of Capital Projects. He's been with the Park District for 28 years. I'm catching up on you, Jim. I've been there 20 years, so I'm working on it. And also with me tonight is the Vice President of the Park Board, John Tillman. He replaced Phil Elfstrom back in 2008 on the Park Board and has been reelected since. So the real reason why I'm here tonight is to present to the council our proposal for the new recreation center that's on the ballot March 17th. So I'm here to present to you facts so all of you and the people viewing on BATV can make an informed and educated decision on March 17th. So the mission of the Batavia Park District is to preserve open space, but also to enrich the quality of life by recreational programming. What a beautiful mission, right? Enriching the quality of life. And our tagline is "Your fun is our business," and we take it seriously. So with that being said, every 5 years we do a community needs assessment, and we survey the community to find out what their needs are. Not just their wants, but what their needs are. Just like the city, we have a comprehensive master plan, and with the needs assessment, we're able to package into the comprehensive master plan a lot of things that we can do to meet those needs. So with that being said, one thing that came out loud and clear is the fact that the Park District has a lack of indoor programming space. In 2018 alone, we paid the school district $111,000 in rentals for gymnasium space, whether it was for basketball, adult volleyball, classroom space. And the Park District wants to get out from underneath that, and the community has embraced that as well by saying that they would like to see that money come back into the Park District and go into operations and expand programming. So we are what you would call programming rich and facility poor. So we're bursting at the seams because our facilities are absolutely tightened up and we don't have a lot of room for expansion. How do I get the... Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Whoops. Sorry about that. All right. Look at this puppy. Going from the beginning. All right. So the Batavia Park District has a $27.1 million referendum question to acquire land, build, and equip a new recreation center. And it all stemmed from the background that we've done, which started with the needs assessment back in 2017. And what we learned is that people had agreed that our strengths were in our events and our programming, and our weaknesses were in our facilities and lack thereof. As you can see from the results up above, an indoor running track and walking track came out on top. A lot of people said, you know, we would love to have an year-round experience. You know, we are outside in your parks, and then because it's the Midwest, when it's October, everybody comes back inside and are hermits up until springtime when they can come back out again. And so people had expressed an interest in having a place where they can go literally seamlessly from outside to inside. People also expressed an interest to have fitness center with exercise weights and free weights, and an indoor pool for swimming and lessons. People like the Hall Quarry Beach, but they don't love the temperature of the water. The Hall Quarry Beach is solar heated, and as you know, that can get pretty cold here in the Midwest. And, we've had a lot of people express throughout the years that they really wish that we had something in town so they don't have to pay non-resident rates. A lot of people don't realize non-resident rates are 30% higher if you go to Persinger Center or the Vaughn Center. And so it's important to the Park District that we can offer our residents something here where they're paying resident rates. The postcard that went out for the needs assessment went out to 11,000 households. And the Batavia Park District, just so you know, when I say went out to our residents, as you know, our boundaries are not contiguous with the city. So our boundaries include North Aurora and Aurora pockets. So we go as far east as the Savannah subdivision, which is in North Aurora, and as far as south as Mirador subdivision in Aurora. A lot of people don't realize that. And so 11,000 postcards were delivered and asked people to go online to complete the survey. They were given a code, or they could call a phone number to request a mail-in survey, or they could do the survey by mail or by phone. The astounding fact that came out here is on the bottom, and that is 3 out of 4 people either strongly supported or somewhat supported building a facility to meet the community's indoor recreation needs, knowing that there would be a willingness to pay for it. So 3 out of 4, that was astounding to us. And the park board said, you know what? Let's continue with community engagement. Let's not stop there. So we did focus groups and listening tours. And with that being said, we had from 5th grade all the way through an 87-year-old who participated in the focus groups. And each listening tour and focus group was 2 to 2.5 hours long. And people were able to share their issues and concerns and their needs. And the most frequently suggested features were indoor turf and indoor water. And so, again, looking at those results, we knew we couldn't stop there. We knew we needed to continue that conversation, that dialogue with the community, and do a deeper dive, pun intended, to find out exactly what we could do to meet those needs. So last October, we engaged architects, Williams Architects and Pros Consulting, who worked with us on a business plan, to meet and engage with the public. It was an open forum. We invited the public through multiple medias, and we invited them to this open house, which we called the Public Indoor Facility Workshop, to tell us exactly what they would like to see in a future facility. And what happened was the public reiterated the results from the needs assessment and from the listening tour. They said we would like to see a pool, and the architects had different renderings, different options people could choose from. The public decided in general they wanted to see 8 lanes, not 6 lanes, because they'd like to see 2 lanes open for lap swim at all times, even during swim lessons. And people really liked the turf concept because, again, it goes into year-round programming. So people are going from outside and looking for a place to socialize, to recreate in the colder months. What's multifunctional about the indoor turf is that there's a overlay of what you could call gym floor. And it's like a puzzle piece that fits on top of the indoor turf. Much like at the United Center, there's ice underneath the basketball court. Well, there's going to be turf underneath a basketball court if you measure it that way. There's this equipment you can purchase, and we can piece it together like a jigsaw puzzle, so it creates multifunctionality. So with all the community engagement up until this point, we're encouraging people that the most important part is that they have a voice, whether they're for it or against it, that they exercise their right to vote on March 17th. So all of this community engagement leads us up to the Batavia Activity Recreation Center with the acronym BARC. Go Bulldogs! The design criteria that we developed with our architects was to make sure that we had something that all generations felt comfortable. So one of the things that breaks my heart a little bit is if I hear somebody say, my kids are grown, and so I've outgrown the park district. They've flown the house, I don't use the park district anymore. Well, the park district is actually for all ages. We have something for everyone recreationally. So from New Horizons Preschool all the way to the Senior Citizen Club, we have a lot of activities for baby boomers. We have a new COOB organization. We have adult athletics. We're actually renovating the Civic Center gymnasium so we can provide more sports for Gen Xers and baby boomers, open gyms. People wanted something that's going to be the heart of the community. Something that really resonated with us was one of the traditional seniors that was in the group had said, I feel invisible. I want to belong somewhere. I want to go somewhere where I can be with different generations, where I feel like I matter, where people can see me. And so we took that into consideration too when creating social spaces. Something that embodies the spirit of recreation makes sense because that's the heart of what we do. We talked a lot about multifunctionality, multi-generational. Inclusive is extremely important. I'm a board member for the Fox Valley Special Recreation Association, and I can tell you that the existing Park District facilities, we work constantly on making them ADA compliant, but it's cost prohibitive for us to put an elevator at the Civic Center. There are a lot of things that we do that we have to make modifications for to make it work. So that's definitely something that we can do if we build new. We can do it right from the beginning. And something just to mention off the cuff is that we do plan on keeping all of our existing facilities if this does indeed pass. We will, because we need as much space as we can possibly have, so we want to retain all the existing facilities. Social and community well-being really says it all. We're hoping that this facility will serve as an entry point to a healthier lifestyle. Environmentally and financially sustainable, this facility can do both. It's environmentally friendly, which Jim Eby is going to talk about, and it has financial sustainability. We can support this plan through our operating budget and user fees. And lifelong learning. What more could you ask for? And so now I'm going to turn it over to Jim Eby.
Am I pushing right here? Bingo. Thank you, Allison. Ladies and gentlemen. Following the October meeting with the architects, we came together as a staff and as a design team and created the this is the ground level plan of the building that we are hoping will be approved on the 17th. Starting in the upper left-hand corner is the 8-lane pool. We did decide to go 8 lanes so that it is competition. 8 lanes is a competition-sized pool in this current world. It will have spectator seating. So if we swim club, dual swim meets of all different kinds, whether it's a swim club that is formed or whatever, we will be able to do that, as well as do our lessons and do the diving. As you move to the right, the large yellow square rectangle is the indoor turf. It's a 30 yard by 40 yard indoor turf. To the bottom, to the south of that is a MAC gym, is a term that the architects have taught us. That's multi-activity court. It is not a wood floor. It is going to be a synthetic floor that would then be able to do numerous types of activities on, not have to be as careful as you are on a traditional wooden floor. We are redoing, starting at the end of March here, the wood floor up at the Civic Center to provide that experience for our patrons. This will be a full-size, high school-sized gymnasium. It will have the red as the pickleball courts because that is probably the hottest thing that's going in the district right now, indoor and outdoor. As you move to the left of the gymnasium, the purple square, again, are 2 multi-purpose rooms and a warming kitchen. The multi-purpose rooms can be opened up as a large single room or left split to provide more room for different activities. And the pie-shaped green area is our administrative area, control area for staff that will be housed at the center. The locker rooms are in the center, which of course will support the gym, the field, and the pool. The second level, the track that again was so highly rated on all of our surveys and listening tour, 2 lanes. The lanes are about 6 feet wide. One would provide room for runners or joggers. The other would be for walkers. 9 times around is a mile, so that's not a terribly bad size at all. It will have obviously views down onto the turf field and into the gymnasium, as well as into the pool area from the track. Where it says wellness, that's our wellness and cardio area. Again, not what you would think of as a traditional fitness or big free weight kind of system, more along the lighter weights and cardio activities that we are able to provide now, but not as much as we would like to. Where it says Group X, that's our group exercise room. That would be hardwood floor with the mirrors for the yoga studio that we are so badly missing, and all kinds of other group exercises that we use our big gym on Wilson Street for in a much more effective way. Obviously, elevators and stairways service that area. What's it kind of going to look like? These are pictures from other centers that actually Williams has designed. The 8-lane pool in the upper left gives you an idea what the new one would look like. Upper right, the MAC gym is that synthetic floor. It's got the traditional basketball, it's got pickleball, it's got volleyball, and then you can tape out any other kinds of things that you would like to. Lower left is the indoor turf with, again, the track up above there. And on the lower right is a view of the track as you would begin your walking, your daily walk. The cardio and wellness area on the upper left, the machines, again, not lots of heavy-duty free weights, not the idea. To the upper right, our group wellness or group exercise can be for dance, it can be for yoga, it can be for step, it can be for Zumba or TRX. We saw many different types of facilities like this that were, again, as Allison mentioned, very multifunctional. Lower left is our multi-purpose rooms. This one's set up for a large banquet kind of setting. It can be split as well and service 2 different uses at the same time. And one of the things that we heard quite a bit, especially in the listening tours this summer, was that folks really wanted to have an area to gather socially while they're waiting for their kids or while they're waiting for a class to start or end. We were at several centers this summer where there were moms and dads and kids doing homework and playing games, and it was just a really very comfortable kind of feeling, not just everybody tapping their toes, waiting for something to end. These are the architect's renderings of what the inside of the bark is going to plan to look like. This is a reception area. You're walking in the front door on the upper left, the stairway to the second level or the elevator, the control desk to the lower right, and again, an open kind of feeling for folks to be waiting and gathering and conversing and social gathering in the upper right. The 8-lane pool from the pool deck level, looking out, utilizing a lot of open glass area, which is very thermally effective. It's not the traditional, you would think you're going to lose all your heat. There are a lot of energy codes that have to be met by a new building of this type, and we will be doing so for sure. Lower right is wellness and cardio equipment looking down onto the pool and to the outside. And then the exterior look. We wanted to make sure that we captured a very comfortable, warm, welcoming feeling, and that's really, I think, easily done by the use of the natural materials like the limestone, like so many of our buildings here in downtown and all over town are that Batavia limestone look. The swoop in the roof line kind of captures a thought of the river and of the prairies, as will the landscape areas that will be around the building. Here's a multi-view. So the upper left is that same kind of view. The upper right is as you would be driving into the center, and you can see the different kinds of building materials that will be used. Lower left is if you were out in the grounds looking into the pool through the large windows. The plan is to be doing, using best management practice kind of areas as the rain gardens, as we've talked about trying to design a system to capture, harvest our rainwater off the building in order to water and maintain the various types of plant material that we will have around the building. And the lower left would be looking at the back of the building, looking west from the east side, which will be more of a traditional cement block unit type of construction, nicely painted, and then, but still the use of the glass in the building. And then I'll let Allison explain this.
I promised him I'd tackle this slide. So something that a lot of residents had said is that they want to save time and money. And people are tired of driving outside of this community to get their recreational needs. So we timed it from the Civic Center location in Batavia to the Persinger Center. It's a 10-minute drive, 20-minute round trip. From the Civic Center to the Vaughn Center, it's a 15-minute trip, 30-minute round trip. So we did the average of that, 25 minutes. So at 25 miles per gallon, a reduction of 25 miles a week at $2.50 a gallon, you could save $130 a year just in gas alone. And here we've been very transparent with residents on how much the tax increase would be. We actually have a tax calculator up on our website. We encourage anyone and everyone to find out what their market value is on their home. There are many different websites you can go to find that. Zillow is one of them. There are many others. So we encourage people to find that out. So doing a little homework so people can make the best educated decision for their household. Again, I mentioned that non-resident fees tend to be higher. We at the Batavia Park District, we charge higher non-resident fees. We charge 30% higher for non-residents than we do residents. And that makes sense because they're not our taxpayers. So we give our taxpayers a break by offering them cheaper programming. And location. Location is very important. Over multiple years, we've done an exhaustive search looking at properties for sale. And when everything started to tell the story from the needs assessment to the listening tours, the focus groups, the indoor facility workshop, we knew we needed to hunker down and find a location. The reason why we could not use Park District properties is because they've been encumbered by grant restrictions, federal and state grants. So anytime the Park District were to acquire land through grants, we are unable to use that property unless we purchase the exact same amount of acreage at a different location in town and move all the amenities from that location to the new location. So it'd be cost prohibitive for us. So it's important that people know that because we have been asked a lot about using our community parks. Also, we wanted something that was centrally located within our boundaries, keeping in mind that we do have pockets of North Aurora and Aurora. This is on the south central side of our boundaries. A vision that we had was to create a recreational corridor. And that is, when you're traveling down Route 25, you first encounter the Clark Island Recreation Area. There's a ball field, there's a band shell, the skate and bike park area. You keep driving, you're going to run into Funway. And just around the corner from Funway on the left-hand side would be this proposed facility. If you keep driving on Route 25, you'll run into the Red Oak Nature Center. So it's really a recreational corridor. And the parcels that are across the street from where we want to put this facility are empty lots. And we're hoping that we could be an anchor for future recreational type businesses. So another really important part that people told us that they wanted was the ability to ride their bikes to this facility, no matter where it was in town. So you'll see that green line. This is where I wish we had that pointer. We need to invest in one. The Park District. So you'll see that the green line, that's actually the Prairie Path. And we've spoken to the King County Forest Preserve about the potential for connecting from the Prairie Path to our facility someday. Also, we wanted something that was right offset of a major thoroughway. So as you know, Route 25 is kind of like the artery that pumps blood into the downtown. And so if people are at our facility for a swim meet or a tournament, and they have some time to kill in between the next time they have another meet, they may go to Funway. They may go to downtown for a bite to eat. It's going to circulate the foot traffic in town. And something that was very attractive about this particular location is that it was pad ready, which means that the infrastructure underneath was ready to connect to city services, which is a cost savings. So a lot of different reasons for this. A lot of people have asked us about the Sam's Club property, but all of you, I'm sure, are aware that's Geneva Park District. And people have asked us about Moose Heart over the years. And with Moose Heart, we actually don't own any property at Moose Heart. There's 20 acres that someday will be deeded to the Park District after Moose Haven is built. We've asked for an early possession agreement with Moose Heart, and they have no interest in granting that right now. So we've given it our best shot, and this is the location that we've come up with for the public. So overall, we're really hoping that the information we provide, it's facts only, that people can make an educated and informed decision on March 17th. So we're encouraging people, no matter which way they vote, just to make sure they have a voice. It's the last part of the community engagement, that they vote. And that's a wrap. So Jim and John Tillman and myself are available for Q&A.
You know, the only thing I would suggest, can you emphasize what the date of the referendum is? I don't know if everybody it's the coming referendum, or the coming primary.
Sure, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
And you're going to be able to early vote that here pretty quick, right outside the lobby here. I think within the next couple of days, we're going to start tomorrow. I wasn't sure if it was tomorrow or the next day, but it's going to be here for certain amounts, and then there'll be some other, you can read in the newspaper, there's some other early voting places. I know the Homestead has one, and there's a couple other places in town that you can go before that if you're not going to be around on the 17th to vote, so.
Yep, and the Homestead's actually Geneva Park District.
That's right. They do have a precinct up there.
That's okay.
That the early vote.
Yeah, there are a few. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
We have a lot of jagged edges to our boundaries.
That's the one thing that's, you know, kind of a, I tell people it also goes back to about 1849 when we drew the first school district boundaries in the area here, and that's why we have a huge chunk of the Batavia school districts in the city of Aurora, North Aurora, and in Mill Creek that's addressed Geneva. So the boundaries don't all mix up or all match here very well at all.
Yeah, new residents really have an education when they first move here to figure out, you know, if they have the sheriff or the police department or which fire department.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that over the years, I've had the experience of working with the Batavia Park District from the very beginning. When it was created, I was the reporter at the old Batavia newspaper, and I remember writing the editorial encouraging people to vote to create the Batavia Park District, and that was about, what, 1970? 69, 70.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and so, long time.
behalf of the Park
I'm
District.
showing my age here now. But I would say over those many years that the Batavia Park District's been in business, it certainly has risen to the occasion. It's certainly tried to run to what the community wanted. It's been very respectful. Certainly their efforts to try to hold on to the quarry and do with it what they could on a very challenging site from a variety of perspectives, I think speaks very well to what they're all about. And certainly, you know, they've tried to incorporate every part of their district with something. They're not trying to leave anybody out of the mainstream here. So we are very fortunate to have a park district that's as in tune with the community as the one we have. So I thank you for all your good services.
Thank you.
Alderman Ferrone?
Couple questions. This is in my ward, so I'm excited about it and support it, whatever my endorsement is worth. Will there be a cost for membership for residents? And what would that be on top of, you listed the tax cost, but not the monthly fees or whatnot?
Oh, sure. So this is a program-driven facility, so it's not going to be a membership-driven facility. So people can purchase passes. We're just not calling passes memberships.
Gotcha.
In our eyes, when you purchase a membership, you have to subscribe, and then you're on a subscription, you know, whether it's $200 for the whole year. But people can purchase passes. They can do 10 punch passes, daily drop-ins, monthly, and then quarterly. So we've made it very a la carte pricing. And I'm glad that you said that because we have it up on our website. It's bataviaparks.org. And we have a referendum page where we broke out all of the pricing into a chart so people can find out, they can compare if they want to compare it to another location that they currently go to, if they just want to see how much it would cost themselves or their family. Does So thank you.
Okay, and then second, one of the feedback items you got on your survey is that fitness was the most requested thing, but there's no resistance training at all? Is it only cardio?
So
And
we're
why
looking.
would you choose that?
That's a great question. And so we didn't want to compete with the powerhouse gyms, but we wanted to provide fitness elements, fitness components. So really, because it's all conceptual, everything from the building itself to what we're planning on offering, we hope to host focus groups with potential users to find out exactly what machines they plan on using. But right now, we're looking at, our proposal is cardio machines and strength circuit equipment with the cables.
Okay.
And with our programming, we offer a lot of sculpting and toning and TRX, which is a lot of resistance training. A lot of what we're going to be offering is either self-guided, where people can go in anytime the facility is open and work out, or they can, enroll in one of our programs.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Other questions?
What are the hours? What do you think they would be?
Oh, sure. Monday through Friday, it's 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then Saturday at 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then Sunday at 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Early start.
Yep. We don't want to be like an Anytime Fitness.
Alderman Chanzit?
I would just like to remark, thank you for bringing the proposal back. I had supported the project 10 years ago when you first tried. I do believe that Batavia needs something like this. I believe we deserve something like this, and I appreciate your persistence. I also appreciate that you've been engaging the community and recognizing what it is that we need and can provide. I hope that this does pass. On the off chance it does not pass, please don't give up. Our community needs and deserves something like this.
Thank you.
Just one more thing is, just to mirror what Dan said, just kind of very nice presentation, and it was factual. The people, the residents should see this and make a clear, concise decision then. If you are successful, and hopefully you are successful, when would you break ground?
We think that probably the earliest that we might be able to break ground would be late summer of 21 into early of 22. It depends on how long the design process takes, and then the permitting process, as we have a number of jurisdictions that we will have to work with, meaning regulatory agencies, city obviously, and then other DePage Soil and Water, all of those. So we will hope to move it forward as fast as possible.
Well, I'm on board. I wish you every success with it.
Thank you very much.
Alderman Beck?
You said that there was potential for connecting to the bike path that goes by. How likely do you think that is?
Quite likely. Certainly, we've worked in concert with the Forest Preserve District for years and years. They're very in favor of our ability to do that. There will be negotiations with landowner. There is no direct connection between the site that you saw and the trail. We will have to go across some property that will be privately owned and down across a creek, and so there will be bridges and things involved. It will be an interesting design process in itself, but I think it's something that we're going to begin pursuing as soon as we can.
Yeah, will there be
You can,
pedestrian?
yeah, I should say, you can now still go to Hart Road and turn and come back Bond Drive, which is really like 2 blocks.
Will there be pedestrian access as well from all directions, or just from Hart Road?
Currently, it will be just from Hart Road at this point. If we are able to make that connection from the path directly to the site, that will be obviously multi-use. I don't know if there'd be a way to do it from the Route 25 side. Yeah, that would be great if we could. But that railroad and the highway kind of pose some challenges.
Anybody else? Well, we thank you for coming down and for sharing this. I think it was a valuable exercise. Hopefully there's a lot of people watching this on TV. I think you've certainly incited the minds of the members of the city council as to the value of what you're talking about here. So best of luck to you in the days ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We do have a meeting tomorrow night at 7. at the Civic Center, if anybody's interested in coming out and getting in,
You may
We all
want
gotta
to
come
say
back
that in
here
the
and
microphone.
fight some other battles.
I know.
You may want to say that in the microphone so everyone in the ATV can hear it.
Thank you. There is a meeting, a public information meeting tomorrow night, March 3rd at 7:00 p.m. at the Civic Center Gymnasium. Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. Okay, moving to item number 10, and I apologize to the chamber for keeping you this late. Normally, we try to get you in here in the first half hour, but we had a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes, you did,
We
and
have
I'm normally
the
still awake at this
President
time.
and CEO of the Batavia Chamber of Commerce, Margaret Perot.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me to speak tonight. I am Margaret Perot, the Chamber President and CEO. I do want you guys all to notice this medal that I'm wearing. Quite proud of it. The Chamber had a team put together to compete in the Batavia Foundation for Educational Excellence's scavenger hunt fundraiser that they put on Saturday night. And we are very proud to say that the Batavia Chamber came in first place. It was our team of Jessica McGrail, Bill McGrail, Jim Perot, and me. There was blood, sweat, and tears. Yes, my husband cried. But it may seem ridiculous. We ran around town, but we did prove that the Chamber has intimate knowledge of the businesses that we represent and such love of this town. It was worth our while competing. And so I know this is odd that I'm still wearing my award from Saturday night, but as a grown woman, it's not often I get a gold medal anymore, and one made out of chocolate. So, yes, very proud of that. Batavia Foundation for Educational Excellence's fundraiser was a big success. We were happy to support that. The Chamber also is a big supporter of education, and as I've mentioned before, we have 4 scholarships that we're offering this year. It's a new thing. They're called Inspire Scholarships. So if you know a Batavia High School senior who would like to apply for the scholarship, please send them to our webpage, www.bataviachamber.org. They can click and fill out the application right there. You're probably wondering, does the Chamber have upcoming events? Why, yes, we do. March is a very busy month for the Chamber. We have, first of all, our date set for the Chamber Golf Outing. It is June 26th, Friday, June 26th, so please put that on your calendar. All are welcome to join us. It will be at Orchard Valley Golf Course this year, again. We also have our not-for-profit forum this Wednesday, March 4th. This is a very successful forum for not-for-profits that meet at the Chamber. Last month, we had 17 not-for-profit leaders meet, talk about current issues, and help each other resolve their challenges. So we're proud of that, providing that opportunity and service to our not-for-profits. On March 10th, we have our Batavia Women in Business After Hours event. We're hosting it at Bar Evolution. We are collecting food for the Interfaith Food Pantry. And we heard that the food pantry after the holidays, donations start to slow down, and they have a great need for canned goods and household goods. So we're collecting those at Bar Revolution. The event will be from 5 to 7 p.m. Monetary donations are also welcome. On Wednesday, March 11th, we have our Batavia Chamber Breakfast Club. That is our morning networking, so it's a great place to go and practice your elevator speech and meet new people and build your image for your business and start to grow your business. That's at 7:30 a.m. On March 18th, in conjunction with the City of Batavia and Batavia Main Street, the Chamber is hosting a small business information forum. The topic is incentive overview, and this is for local businesses to find out how to access tools and funds that may be available to them to help grow their business in Batavia. We have speakers from Fox Valley Entrepreneurship. We have Harriet Parker from the Small Business Development Center, Frank Priori, a SCORE representative, Christopher Aston, the City of Batavia Economic Development Consultant, talking about TIF funds, and also Heidi Files will be here talking about her experience with these organizations and how they've impacted her business growth. So that's a no-charge event. We encourage you to register at the bataviachamber.org page so we have an idea of how many people are coming. But that will be March 18th, 8 to 9:30, a great event to attend. We have a very busy day on March 18th because we also have our educational seminars at Valley Industrial. It's a twofer that day. In the morning, we will focus from 8 to 9:30 on diversity and inclusion in your workplace. It's a legal requirement, so businesses need to be informed. Also on March 18th, immediately following that, at Valley Industrial, we are having a workshop on demystifying apprenticeships. So learn what apprenticeships are and how they could benefit your company. So if you'd like to come to those events, please go to our website to register. And the evening of March 18th, we have our once-a-month networking event that we always host on the third Wednesday of each month from 4:30 to 6:30. This month, on March 18th, it will be at Oscar Swan in Geneva, and we will be highlighting the Albright Community Theater. So come learn more about them, come network, build relationships, and if you're part of a service organization, it's a great place to recruit new members, so come join us. On March 19th, we have our industrial panel that we're working on with the Geneva and St. Charles Chambers. Our topic is Overcoming Talent Acquisition, Challenges in a Shrinking Labor Force. This will be held at FONA International in Geneva from 3 to 5 p.m. We know that with low unemployment rates, it's difficult to find qualified candidates, so we're listening to our businesses and our manufacturer partners and trying to help them satisfy the need of hiring qualified candidates. So it'll be a great panel. Come and listen. There's no charge for, there is a $15 charge for that event. But registration can be done on our chamber website. The chamber is also coordinating a fully guided 7-day tour to Tuscany in October. So we had our kickoff meeting a couple weeks ago. Great response. We have a couple people registered to go. So come join us. There's more information on our website. It's a great way to see the beautiful countryside of Tuscany. And that's pretty much it. So a lot going on. So come join us. Now I would like to take the opportunity to introduce one of our valued chamber members. Cast Aluminum Solutions has been a member of the Batavia Chamber for the last 7 years and is located in Batavia at 1310 Kingsland Drive off of Fabian Parkway near Settlers Hill Golf Course. Cast Aluminum Solutions serves companies worldwide with highly engineered thermal products and components. You will be amazed at what they produce in Batavia and how their global products impact our daily lives. The Chamber is thankful for Cast Aluminum Solutions choosing Batavia as their location for their impressive business. I would like to invite the Marketing Director, Jeff Awe, and Eric Hostert, the VP of Engineering and Quality, to come tell us more about their wonderful business. Come on up. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody. So I am Jeff Awe. I am the Marketing Director over at Cast Aluminum. We are located just across from the Dean's ice cream plant there on Kingsland. We make primarily heated products, although some cooled products for the medical device industry, the commercial food service industry, the aerospace and defense industry. I just got news yesterday that, or last week, that we got an order from NASA, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, to produce a component that will go, hopefully, on the Mars lander. This component that we got the order for last week is kind of the laboratory test version of a sealing product, a heated sealer, okay, like a ring, a heated ring that will, they want to bring back samples of actual Mars soil material. So you don't want to contaminate Earth with Mars bugs. So they need to seal these ampules. So they're testing our ring heater as a way to seal those ampules. And if it works out, it'll end up on the rover. So that's pretty neat. So yeah, you know, we're local, we hire local. We work with local partners. Batavia Foundry is a small kind of family-owned foundry that we partner with occasionally. And we're expanding. We recently expanded into a second location, which is off of Douglas Road, and that will be our new R&D tech center. Now, this is the reason why I brought Eric, so he can kind of discuss the engineering aspects of our new tech center, which is pretty snazzy. If you ever get a chance to go over there, we'll give you a tour. It's got some really great technology built into it. So here's Eric Ostert, our Vice President of Engineering.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate everybody's time.
Let's pull the PowerPoint.
Absolutely. There we go. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you everybody for your time this evening. We appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit about our company with you. Again, my name was Eric. I've been with CAS for about 20 years now. And it's worth noting that CAS has an over 40-year history here in the city of Batavia. And one of the things that I've seen in my career in manufacturing is that a lot of communities don't realize all of the interesting things that are going on at the factories and the business parks that they've got in their towns. And CAS is no exception. I am sure that most folks in here don't realize the impact that CAS's products have on your everyday life and how we impact people around the world on a regular basis. And so we really do appreciate this opportunity to share a little bit about our company here. As Jeff mentioned, we've got 2 locations. We're located in the industrial park near Kirk and Fabian. Our primary facility at 1310 Kingsland is 54,000 square feet, and we've been there for about 30 years now. And just last year, in the second quarter of 2019, we opened a new facility, a 25,000 square foot R&D tech center, just a couple of blocks away in the same industrial park on Douglas Road. And we were very excited to open that new facility. That was made possible by some of the exciting growth that we've had at CAS in recent years, where we outgrew our main facility and we needed some additional space to support our customers. And our team was very excited to be able to support that growth in Batavia. Certainly we were looking for some opportunities to expand our facility, and we found a nice home just a couple of blocks away. And this really goes to continue a great partnership that we've had with the city of Batavia. When you look at our main facility and some of the neat programs we've worked on, we were just talking earlier, one of the programs we worked on recently was ensuring redundancy of the electricity going to our main facility to make sure our molten aluminum stays liquid when the power goes out. And that continued into our new facility design as well, as we partnered with the city as we're going through design approvals and inspections and things like that. And so we're very excited to continue our growth here in the city of Batavia, where things have gone so well for us. And so we do have over 100 employees. We work 2 shifts. And you say, what do we do there? And so what we describe our process is that we are a thermal solutions provider. And really that's kind of the fancy marketing term for the fact that we design and build custom engineered, heated and cooled parts. And so we sell our parts to other businesses who integrate our components into their larger assemblies, and then they sell them to their end users where they're used out in the world. And so our primary operations are engineering, so we do all custom design work. We have a foundry where we cast aluminum parts. We have dozens and dozens of CNC machining centers, and we do electrical assembly as well. And so all of these activities are to support customers of ours around the world. So we ship products to North America, multiple countries in Asia and Europe. Very exciting times there. And so when people ask us, what kind of products do we make? We always try to find something that everybody can relate to. And I think this really does the trick. I think everybody can relate to the waffle maker, right? I think everybody uses those when you go to the hotel and you're making your continental breakfast. I know certainly my 9-year-old son, in his eyes, the waffle maker and the pool are his 2 favorite things anytime we go to a hotel, right? But seriously, the waffle iron is something that we've been making for more than 30 years. And while most of the new parts that we make, the newer projects that we're involved in are much more advanced, the waffle iron really kind of represents the core of what we do. And what we do is we take a heating element, we cast it inside aluminum, and we're making a heated part that solves a problem for our customers. And so while that's really simple and straightforward and something everybody can identify with, I think it really gives a nice overview of what we're able to do there. And the exciting thing about CAS is that we work with a lot of different industries. And so our biggest industry that we serve is the semiconductor market. And so this is a term for the companies out in Silicon Valley in California and in Asia who make the pieces of equipment that make computer chips and all those components that go into them. And so what happens is we provide complex heated parts like the units that you'll see in the middle of the screen here. And they take those parts and they build them into these multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment that ultimately make computer chips and processors and memory at fabs all around the world. And this is really exciting because they are taking our parts and they're making something that people all around the world use on a daily basis. I can guarantee that everybody in this room has interacted with some technology today that had components in it that were made on our parts. And so the silicon wafer is the basis of any computer chip and any memory, and those silicon wafers actually sit on our heaters as they're being processed in these fabs in their clean rooms all over the world. And so all of those chips and those memory devices, those go into the phones, the tablets, the computers, the TVs that everybody uses every day. So here's something where a company in Batavia is having an impact on people around the world. So it's very exciting. And the technology that we get involved with working with our semiconductor customers is really exciting stuff. They're always pushing the limits of what the technology can do. The second biggest market that we work with is in the food equipment business. And so what happens is we make heated parts that our customers integrate into pieces of equipment that they sell to every type of restaurant chain that you can think of. And so you could go anywhere in Batavia right now and go into a restaurant and you will find pieces of equipment in there where they've got our heaters inside their ovens, their grills, their steamers, or their toasters. And that's going to be the case all around the world as our products are used in every big name restaurant chain that you can think of. Other markets that we work with, aerospace and defense, we're heating jet fuel for different applications, rocket propellant for some of the space exploration that's going on. In the oil and gas industry, we've got heaters that are in refineries and on drilling rigs. And on the medical side, we've got heaters that are used in dialysis machines and diagnostic equipment all around the world. So a lot of exciting applications that we get to work on. Here are just some examples of some of the parts we make. They vary widely in the shapes of the parts, the size. They vary from things that you can hold in your hand, like what you see here, to some of these large heaters that can weigh 300 or 400 pounds. These are all examples of some circulation heaters that we make for heating various liquids and gases in any kind of application you can think of. And again, just more shapes of parts that we make, all of it with a thermal focus. So again, we're trying to solve temperature-based challenges for all of our customers here. And so when it comes to designing these custom products, as Jeff mentioned, we opened our new R&D Tech Center not far from our main facility, and that's helping us to continue on with our high-tech types of applications. So we're using 3D solid modeling, we're using computational fluid dynamics, and all kinds of powerful tools to provide world-class solutions for our customers right here out of Batavia. When you look at some of the facilities in our new tech center that just opened last year, in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see our new engineering test lab, which is 4 times bigger than the lab we had at our old facility that allows us to do a lot of product testing and development so we can develop new techniques and new solutions for our customers to continue to support our growth. We've got a clean room for assembling precise or very sensitive electronics and various equipment for doing our product testing. And then finally, looking in the manufacturing section of our new facility, you'll see we've got multiple CNC machines that give us new capacity to support our customers, and we've got some room to grow because we're really looking forward to continuing to grow here in Batavia. It's been a great relationship for us, and I think it's been very exciting to see how our company has flourished and is able to provide such great high-tech solutions for customers all around the world. We do appreciate the chance to share a little bit about what we do at Cast Aluminum Solutions. I appreciate your time, and if there are any questions I can answer, we'd be happy to address those for you.
Anybody on the council? Alderman Callahan?
My 11-year-old sons will join your son and be the waffle R&D division.
Perfect.
I don't understand.
We need test users
They
for that.
absolutely will live with that hotel.
Exactly, that's the favorite.
I just going to say thank you. This was a great presentation. I'm pretty excited that this happens in Batavia. You know, and Batavia is touching the world.
It is pretty incredible. And again, I think that's the great thing about being able to share this with everybody is that, these exciting things are probably happening all around us, and you don't realize what's going on in those industrial parks. And so it's great to be able to share that.
I was excited to hear about you making a part that's going to land on Mars. If you turn around and look at the back wall there, you'll see Buzz Aldrin standing on the lunar surface, and we have a couple reasons why that's up there. One, his grandfather was minister of the Methodist Church up here on Batavia Avenue.
No kidding.
But more interestingly, in the mid-1960s, the room you're in was a company by the name of Dunbar Capital, and they had a division called DK Aerospace. And in the 1960s, supposedly Werner von Braun, who headed up the space program, came here and sat in this room for 2 stints of 20 hours each as they invented what they called the flexible fuel line. And they put the fuel, it was in the fuel line that was on the rocket and the space capsule that landed on the moon. And it was a fuel line that was designed so it would have flexibility and it wouldn't break because it was going to crash land and take off and reconnect with other spacecraft. And they did all kinds of exercises in this room using some rubber products that they were trying to work with to design this fuel line that ended up going to the moon. So if you go by the book, First on the Moon, which was written by the 3 astronauts when they returned to the Earth after 1969, I think it's page 77, it says right there, the fuel line was made in Batavia, Illinois.
That's great. That's great. Well, hopefully we can add another picture on the wall.
Absolutely.
Mars, right?
We're on Mars, so I don't know of many of our neighboring communities that can brag like we can when it comes time to our industrial productions and technologies and talents that we've put into this world over the years. So
agree with that.
thank you for carrying on the grand tradition of Batavia.
Very good. Well, thank you for your time.
Right. Thank you. Okay, moving in to item number 11, which is approval of Class 1 theater liquor license application for Reddington Remedies, doing business as the Bit Theater to be located at 160 First Street in Batavia. Who's got this one?
Your Honor.
Alderman Chancellor.
So at committee, we learned that the police department did conduct the background check on the organization, and they did find no reason not to issue this license. I do not believe the applicant is here tonight, but they did talk about what the organization is. It's a comedy club, improv training ground, which sounds really exciting. So if there are no questions, I would move that we approve this Class J theater liquor license for Reddington's Remedies Incorporating, doing business as a Bit Theater.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanza, second by Alderman Knopp for the approval of the Class J liquor license. Yes, it is. For the Bit Theater to be located at 160 First Street in Batavia. Any discussion? Clerk call the roll.
Chansett.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosato.
Aye.
Beck.
He's abstaining.
Thank you.
Oh,
Knopp.
yeah, actually, if we can let the record reflect that Alderman Beck left the meeting at 8:38.
Thank you. Knopp.
Aye.
We got it?
Yep.
Vote is 13 yes, 1 absent, and no noes. So let the record reflect that Alderman Beck has returned to the council. Moving then to item number 12, which is ordinance 20-22, authorizing the purchase of real property at 916 Park Street. Who's got this one? Alderman Callahan.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city has been working on various code enforcement efforts on this property located at 916 Park Street for a number of years. City has a substantial lien on the property due to the code violations, and the property recently went on the market and the city made an offer to purchase. This purchase would be a short sale wherein the sale price would be less than the mortgage, which is $72,390,000 for the property. Don't think we have staff to say any more. Nope.
I don't know if there's any more to say. We said quite a bit during our discussion about
Right.
it tonight.
And this does butt right up to the East Side Cemetery. So with that, I move we approve ordinance 20-22, authorizing purchase of real property located at 916 Park Street.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Callahan, second by Alderman Rosado for the approval of the purchase of the property at 916 Park Street. Any further discussion?
Your Honor, I just say this is a good purchase for the city to do, just to clean up the area for the residents, the neighboring residents. And I think the Public Works might be looking for some of that property to use. We discussed, so we'll see how that goes, but I think this is a good thing to do.
You know, as I said in the meeting the other night, I mean, this is a dynamic neighborhood that's really had a massive turnaround and has had a lot of new houses built there and restorations, renovations, and new construction. And this is kind of the last standing situation that we need to deal with. So I really appreciate the council's support in this. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosado.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Jansit. Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Motion's approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. Moving to 13, which is Resolution 20-036-R, authorizing the adoption of the Complete Streets Policy. Alderman Wolf, do you have that?
I do, Your Honor. I'll just read a quick paragraph here, and that really will explain most of this. The City of Batavia strives to create an efficient, comprehensive, and connected network of complete streets, or roadways in which all users, regardless of age, ability, or mode of transportation, are safe and comfortable. Complete Streets promotes increased walking and bicycling, and in turn supports cleaner air, better health, less traffic congestion, reducing wear on the streets, and more effective use of the right-of-ways. Greater access to the business by the general public will boost the local economy, and the more pedestrians spending out time outdoors leads to a more lively, vitalized town. I think that basically wraps up, I think, what it really means. What we're trying to do is to utilize the roadway and the right-of-ways that we have to the best ability for everybody to use at any level. I think that's really what this is about, and I think it's a good step forward for the community as a whole.
Any further discussion?
Your Honor, I'm going to jump in. I guess I appreciate doing this. I know the state's requiring it, but I think it's important that we do it, that we maintain our downtown to have everyone participate in our downtown, pedestrians, bicyclists, not just the vehicles. I'd like to say also that, doing this will slow the traffic down. We shouldn't have high-speed avenues in our downtown. We should make it safe for everyone. And on top of that, I think what also the Complete Street says, the research and reading I've been doing on it, is while we're doing this, we should also look into is doing sustainable streets. And I know we're talking about green streets with trees and planters, but sustainable streets where we have permeable pavers. Most streets in our downtown are impermeable pavers, impermeable surfaces. We have permeable pavers, kind of like River Street. It helps our runoff, our storm runoff, and it just slows the traffic down, and it builds community, I believe. And it's just something I hope we all continue to keep in the picture when we're talking complete streets.
Very good. Any further comments?
I'll make the motion that we approve Resolution 20-36-R, authorizing adoption of Complete Streets Policy.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman O'Brien for the approval of the authorizing the adoption of the Complete Street Policy for the City of Batavia. Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosado.
Aye.
Beck.
Aye.
Knopp.
Aye.
Jansit.
Motion is approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. Moving to 14, which is ordinance 20-15, revising Title V of the Municipal Code regarding fees for non-emergency lift assists. Alderman Wolf, do you have this?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. This is something that, through the Tri-City Ambulance, that I'm a representative on for the city, we've talked about over the past several years. We brought it up a couple times here at city council level. And finally, we are at the point where we are going to institute a fee for lift assists. To begin with, this fee will be charged to facilities that we go to, not to residents in their, single-family house. So this is one that we're using to start out with at care facilities. And it's something that there are costs associated with this. There always have been, and it's now at the point where we have to recapture some of those. And it's not a full cost recovery, but it's a start. So, anybody has any questions or comments?
Well, I'll also say again, it's a good thing to do, because our fire department is doing it now, and they're at risk of hurting themselves or injuring themselves, and these facilities will have to have their employees start doing it, and it'll keep our fire department from doing it and freeing them up to do what they're trained to do, is respond to fires and respond to residents' needs, except for these facilities. So I think this is a good thing to do. It's not overburdening these facilities, but it does free up our fire department.
Alderman Cerrone?
I completely support this. My only concern is the term non-emergency. And if these places take advantage of that, this is something we should definitely revisit.
Yeah, and we've
in
talked
6
about
months to a
revisiting
year.
that and looking at what the numbers are and how the calls are processed, so that we can, keep track of that. And the same thing as Tri-City Ambulance has talked about is how they're going to handle that. And I think we're going to review them. What did we decide on, a year? Yeah. In 1 year, we're going to review this. That way we'll be able to make an intelligent decision with the data we have from over a year's time. Is this working? Is it enough? Is it too much? How has the response been to it? So I think it's a good thing. I definitely think it's something we've needed to do for quite a while.
Other comments or questions? Clerk, call the roll.
Need a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve ordinance 20-15 for a fire department lift assist fee.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman O'Brien for the approval of ordinance 20-15 for the municipal code regarding non-emergency lift assist by the fire department. Now the clerk, please call the roll.
Wolf?
Aye.
Barron?
Aye.
O'Brien?
Aye.
Callahan?
Aye.
Meitzler?
Aye.
Malay?
Aye.
Ewer?
Aye.
Saron?
Aye.
McFadden?
Aye.
Rosato?
Aye.
Sorry, Miller?
Aye.
Long night. Beck?
Aye.
Knopp?
Aye.
Chanzit?
Aye.
Ordinance 20-15 is approved, 14 yes, no nos, none absent. Moving to 15, which is ordinance 20-21, revising Title 3 of Chapter 3 of the Batavia Municipal Code, amending Section 3-3-1 on restrictions on issuance renewals. Who's got this one? Alderman Chanzit?
Your Honor, first of all, let's let the record reflect that Alderman Beck did leave the meeting at 8:49. This ordinance is a revision to our liquor code. It is an amendment that would allow public officials and city employees to hold liquor licenses. Batavia's restrictions were more restrictive than what the state statutes were, and this new revision then basically mirrors state statutes. Discussed extensively at committee, and I would move that we approve ordinance 20-21, revising Title 3, Chapter 3 of the Batavia Municipal Code, amending Section 3-311 on restrictions on issuance and renewals.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Chanzit, second by Alderman Knopp for the approval of ordinance 20-21 of the Batavia, amending the Batavia Municipal Code, Section 3-3-11 on restrictions of issuance renewals. Any further discussion? Alderman Callahan?
I just want to say that this is a good thing. This is, while it was being said that maybe it was because of one alderman that was coming up with the change, that's actually not true. It's the change in the state law, and as a result of that, this is a good way to diversify, allowing who can serve and who cannot on council.
Yeah, I would wholeheartely agree with your statement. I'm aware of at least one suburban mayor who already has a liquor license because of the change in the law. So it's other places. We're not the first one to do this by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
And so nothing special is going on here, it's just the way it is. Changing the world and changing the law, so. Other comments? Clerk, call the roll.
Jansen.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Barron.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Meitzler.
Aye.
Malay.
Aye.
Ewer.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Rosato.
Aye.
Knopf.
Motion's approved, 13 yes, no no's, 1 absent. And on that, let the record reflect that Alderman Beck has returned to the meeting. All right, we are now at the 16, which is the administrator's report. Laura, please.
Thank you. I was really happy that Cast Aluminum Solutions was the guest of the chamber this evening. It was a project that we worked on right as I was coming on board with Gary Holm, and I went to go meet with the leadership out at Cast Aluminum Solutions, and they were experiencing issues where if the molten aluminum is left in a mold for a period of longer than 2 hours, they just have to throw that entire mold away. And it's a 5-figure issue when they have to do that. And so power outages were extremely costly. And we were able to come up with a solution. This was a company that has been in Batavia for 40 years and has never asked for any assistance whatsoever. And City Council granted approval for us to assist them with installation of a redundant system so that should the power go out, they're able to switch over to alternate power. But the great story went on from there where last year when they needed to expand, it just so happened that 1250 Douglas was a spec building that had recently been built. It only had one tenant at that time in 1/3 of that facility, and they decided to take on another third of that facility to be their new tech center. In 2018, Cast Aluminum Solutions was named to Inc. magazine's fastest growing companies in the United States. So it's been a really great supportive relationship with Cast Aluminum Solutions. And like the gentleman mentioned, I'm sure that we would be just amazed by the number of Batavia businesses and the way that they influence both products that we use every day and products that would amaze us.
May I make a comment, please? It's just regarding the cast aluminum services, solutions, I should say. You know, we've been looking to sell Batavia to industry to come to Batavia for electric usage.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are perfect salesmen.
Yes.
I mean, and just what you said about, you know, Gary working with them to solution their issues, their problem, that's a perfect sales pitch.
It absolutely
for other industries. I mean, we sold Rubicon on that, on our electric utility. I mean, we have issues, you know, dollar-wise, you know, dealing with Prairie State, but, you know, and all you hear is the negative, but these are positive things coming forward, and we should be selling that.
Absolutely.
And so hopefully, you know, when we have a person who's going to replace Chris Aston is on board to actually sell Batavia, to bring people in from Chicagoland, all surrounding area, you know, the metropolitan area, to come into Batavia and set up their shop.
So an example, even before Chris is leaving, the city of Batavia has become far more active in taking opportunities like the DuPage Chamber of Commerce. It was a multi-chamber area event that we went to, and city of Batavia was the only municipality that had a table at that event, and people were stopping by to talk to us about what it's like to do business in Batavia. So we're really trying to get the name Batavia out there in ways that gets us noticed, so that when people are thinking about adding facilities or moving facilities, that they're thinking about the city of Batavia, and especially high electric users, because we have the ability for high electric users, because we have our own electric utility, to give them preferential rates. So that's built right into our code, and maybe something that we should take a look at doing more often.
But please, Laura, just, there was no indictment on Chris whatsoever.
Not at all.
Please, yeah.
Not at all.
He's doing a fine job.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you know, it's another reason why I think that it would be a good use of a business registration program would be to become more aware of the types of businesses. If we listed the SIC code and NAICS codes of those types of businesses that were located here, and perhaps businesses would like to locate with other businesses of the same type, or perhaps there is a particular type of material supplier that they would like to locate close to. Having a business registration program would allow us to make that kind of sales pitch to them as well, why Batavia is a great place to locate your business.
And our electric utility is second to none. I mean, it's a
Absolutely.
top-tier utility, and so we need to keep that on the front burner for the metropolitan area to see and to want to invest in it.
That matters to people. I've noticed when I've talked to businesses and they know what kind of service they get from a Commonwealth Edison who has thousands of industrial clients throughout the state of Illinois versus our electric linemen work on this system. They take pride in it always being up and ready, and whenever there's a problem, they are on the spot, no matter what time of day or day of the year it is. So,
And a large part of it is redundant also.
Right. Yes.
And so it's just almost flipping a switch.
Right.
So, which is important.
Mm-hmm. And making improvements to that system all the time, which I'll talk about when I get to the public works section this evening. I did want to make sure that everyone knows that one of the items that we will be discussing at tomorrow night's Committee of the Whole meeting will be the One Washington Place project. And there is a resolution that is being considered for whether the time period for the TIF in which that project is located should be extended. The next Plan Commission meeting is on Wednesday, and there are several text amendments that are on that agenda. These include changes to the cannabis regulations for non-dispensary uses, changes to industrial freestanding sign height requirements, and changes to the short-term rental use requirements. We have approved the revised boundary agreement with North Aurora on January 21st. They will actually be taking a look at the same agreement at their village board meeting in March. As we approach the census, the Community Development Department did a lot of hard work to annex some parcels that were surrounded by the city. They're sort of at the end of their current phase of this annexation initiative. They annexed 77 parcels of land, which included 49 homes. Public Works, the electric crews are continuing to install new wiring at the Laurelin Apartments. This project will result in completely new electric infrastructure serving that apartment complex. The street crews have done an excellent job this winter, and we hope that the winter storms are behind us at this point, fingers crossed. IDOT has officially awarded the construction contract for the Main Street project, and a pre-con meeting will be scheduled in the coming weeks. And we recently received notice that we've been awarded $47,000 from King County through the Community Development Block Grant Program to resurface some streets in the city. Church Street to Washington Street, Church Street, Washington Street to Park Street, Columbia Street, Washington Street to Park Street, and Fayette Street, Washington Street to Park Street. And we made this application early last year, and we've just been notified about the award, and so now we have to work that into our program.
The fourth ward thanks you.
Yeah, you know, this has been a really nice thing that we've been able to avail ourselves of the CDBG funding for our low to moderate income areas in our city. And I have to give credit to the engineering department because it takes a lot of heavy lifting to put together all of the documentation required in order to apply for these things. And they make the effort, and every year it seems to pay off. So kudos to them. And in response to feedback from residents, curbside residential brush collection will now start in April. So the east side collection will begin on April 6th, and the west side collection will begin on April 13th. And the police department orders have been placed with the bid winner for, dealerships for our 2020 fleet vehicle acquisitions. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Any questions, Laura?
Yes, Alderman Knopp.
Menards.
Menards, yes.
How did that meeting go when
Yes.
everybody was here? Are they making progress on that?
They're making progress on it. So they withdrew their most recent proposal for the drainage, and they went back to a prior proposal, and they are working through the notes that had been given to them with that. Things are moving forward.
Good.
In fact, they had a meeting last week, I think, Gary, right? Yeah, on Friday. So they know exactly what needs to be fine-tuned about the what they provided to us. So we're on the right track.
Okay. Well, and the reason I asked is Tony from Menards had called me and had a discussion about what was going on, so I wanted to just keep tabs on that.
Yes.
Good to hear that they went back to a prior proposal with some notes. That's
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, going to committee reports. Government Services, Alderman Chanzit.
Nothing to report.
City Services, Alderman Wolf.
Nothing to report. Laura already let everybody know that brush pickup starts in April. I would just ask that people wait until April to put the stuff out. Because that's one of the problems that always happens is no matter when we've ever done it, it always happens that as soon as people get the opportunity, when it's 50 or 60 degrees out on a nice weekend, is to put everything out. But wait until April.
Alderman Callahan, Community Development.
As was stated, tomorrow we have a resolution regarding the possible extension of the TIF for 1 North Washington. I believe the developer is going to be here.
Yes.
That's obviously the item that's on the agenda. There are several other options in the memo. On Wednesday is the Plan Commission, where there will be a public hearing regarding amending the text zoning regarding cannabis usage, not dispensary related, and bed and breakfasts and signs. And then next week, the untabling of the SSA at Nagel Industrial Park. That's it.
Any questions? Public Utilities, Alderman O'Brien.
Your Honor, tomorrow we will be discussing sanitary sewer cleaning, it'll be Resolution 20-041, and we'll also be discussing Resolution 20-042, authorizing an execution of a task order number 19. Basically, it's waterworks system risk and resilience and an assessment. So there'll be something to talk about.
Good.
And I believe also we'll have the Public Works, Gary will give us a Public Works update tomorrow night.
Okay. Anybody, any questions of the Public Utilities? Okay, 18, other business. Do we have any other business tonight? Alderman Beck.
I have two events that I wanted to highlight that are coming up here. The first one is March 21st, which is the Batavia Environmental Commission's annual Green Night out at the movies. March 21st at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. The movie this year is called Current Revolution. It says this film tackles the challenge of how utility, auto, tech, and defense industries can help modernize the aging power grid to make it more secure and responsive to the needs of users while enhancing environmental performance. Usually there's a speaker or a panel following the movie. I believe Gary is one of our esteemed panelists this year. So I think that'll be a really interesting event. So again, that's March 21st here in Council Chambers. And then April 7th, can't read. April 7th at 10 a.m., I'm on the core team for the Fox Valley Sustainability Network, and we host forums every other month on different sustainability topics around the region. This next one is on flooding and green infrastructure, and we are hosting that one as well. We haven't hosted it. It moves up and down the river valley every other month, so we're hosting our first one in April. The agenda for that is still being finalized, but I believe it'll start with a CMAP overview of some regional flooding issues and projections, go down to the county level on the stormwater plan that we approved recently, and then some different programs for municipalities or neighborhoods or individuals to kind of adapt to more increased flooding events and what we all can do to adapt to those changing conditions. So that's April 7th at 10 a.m. here in Chambers again.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? All right, going to the mayor's report, a couple things. This past weekend, I was involved in several conversations in my roles in Chicago with the coronavirus. That one kept raising its ugly head, I'll call it that. We had a call last night in which there was well over 100 people trying to participate in a single phone call. And it was Mayor Lightfoot from Chicago was kind of the moderator. She was on there with her staff. And it was a technological challenge, I guess I would describe it, because I kept getting cut off and getting back on, and it put me on, put me off. It was a good effort, I think, on the part of everybody to try to bring all the various governmental agencies and support agencies together to talk about it. And at the end of the day, I guess what I can share is that the city of Chicago, which kind of has to be the lead agency in this for our area, informed us that they have put extra staff and extra folks on duty at both O'Hare and Midway Airport to intercept any planes that are coming from some distance that may potentially have some type of an issue with it, and they would be testing people getting off those planes. They also mentioned that the area hospitals have been very cooperative and have gone forth, and everybody's trying to maintain the presence and the knowledge of it and test everybody that comes in the door. Is there any potential challenge? As they indicated, there hasn't been a lot found yet, but there certainly is enough fear out there that we're trying to do it. And I guess they had some points. They encouraged us to exercise preparedness and be prepared to reassure your community that everything is being done. Obviously, the old adage of keep calm, keep residents calm, and assure them that the risk right now is considered very low, that we're going to have much of an impact here. Coordination, be part of the plan and respond and be informing others in the region as quickly as you can that something may or may not have happened in your town, which is significant. Maintain transparency, continuation, and rapid updates to the community should something occur. And, don't be afraid to use the digital channels as they described it. I mean, certainly use social media and the websites that are available to send out updates, and also have some of our staffs monitor what's being said on that, because you never know when somebody may have something of some significance that should be noted and then explored and investigated. And they also encourage us, don't get involved in hypothetical scenarios by the media. Stick to the facts. And so those were kind of the rules that came out. I heard a couple comments made on the phone that some people were of the opinion, and this was some of the more scientific folks, that maybe because the weather is now getting warmer, that's going to help bring down the risk of it. And so we shall see whether we will or not, but that's what the things that were said. So just to let you know, I was out there, and my role as chairman of the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning got me a seat at the table on that one, or at least my ear on the phone, and that's about where it was, because there was some technological issues and there was a lot of conversation going on. I also yesterday got asked by the village of Westchester, which, as many of you know, is in central Cook County, to come in and participate in a seminar that they were having for their residents about the values of home rule. And they specifically wanted Batavia to come in because we had had the referendum where we had defeated the challenge to take home rule away. And they had some of their people that were involved in the discussion, and they're very interested to know what that was all about and how that worked. And how in goodness name did Batavia ever come up with that percentage of residents that voted to maintain home rule? That it was like a percentage off the voting charge. There some shenanigan going on. And I said, no, we couldn't even spend any money to publish literature about it. It was all done by a group of citizens working to educate people. And so then they had me talk about how we got it, and I told about we had the referendum prior to being home rule to create the half-cent sales tax to build the fire stations, and then we later added the other half-cent after we became home rule. But I certainly harked on the virtues of the whole thing about being able to kind of police your community and bring crime-free housing into your town. And I specifically cited a couple of examples of things that happened to the Batavia Police Department that we were able to then use home rule to crime-free house a few people out of town and whatever. And everybody seemed very impressed by that. Now, when I went over there, they told me I was going to talk for a half hour. So they wanted me there at 1:30, and when I got done, it was 3:13. And it wasn't me I didn't do all that talking. It was all these. You think of all the citizens in this town that have, opportunities to come down here and ask questions. Well, I will tell you, Westchester has the same situation going on. We had a room about maybe not quite as big as this, but it was pretty full. And we had all the people who were, I'll call them negative toward the idea, were all there. And, they didn't necessarily attack me. They were asking a lot of questions, but there were certainly a lot of internal things going on amongst themselves. And one of their village trustees seemed to be a very enlightened individual. I believe as I looked at it, it looked to me like there's only 6 on the village board in Westchester, 3 men and 3 women. And the 3 women seem to be very active in this whole idea of having the home rule. And one of the gals made the comment that she goes out and tours presentations by other communities on such things as retail development or whatever, and she proceeds to announce to all the other people there that I'm from Batavia, and Batavia comes to all the, what do we call that, Laura? The ICSC meetings in the area, and we always have a table, and we always talk about Batavia, and that we're the ones that are really ahead of the game here and trying to promote ourselves as a business community. So she made that comment to him. It was an interesting conversation. I didn't get paid anything for going. I did it because I guess of my CMAP thing, and they wanted to have somebody that had had some experience with it. So I went ahead and went over there. So that was that one. Then last week, I also sat in on a meeting of the Metropolitan Mayor's Caucus at the Union League in Chicago, and got through that. Mayor Regina from St. Charles went with me, and we got on the train, and I had some speaking parts at this meeting, so everybody, I guess, knew who I was. And I get on the train, and I wasn't paying much attention. And there was this lady came and sat across from us, and I don't know, we leave in there, and we get out about Old Park, and suddenly this woman, somebody was sitting next to her, got up and left. So this girl was in this seat by herself, and she says, "You're the mayor of Batavia, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "Well, I'm the mayor of Glen Ellen, and I was just at this meeting with you. And boy, I was going to go back and call you because you and I have something in common." She says, "I am told that you just opened up the first or the most recent Raising Cane out on the west side of your town, and I got one under construction in my town right now on Roosevelt Road, and I want you to tell me what this is all about because I'm hearing all kinds of stories." So I proceeded to enlighten her as to what I could tell her about the ribbon cutting and everything, and 377 people was there. It was the largest ribbon cutting I had ever done. And she's like, "Oh my goodness gracious." She says, "I don't have a parking lot in that to even begin to cover that." So I said, well, they provided their own police. They hired the Illinois State Police the day they did it, and we kind of stood by while they had their paid people patrol it for them. But I said, you may want to have your police talk to them ahead of time because you're probably going to have I would think, the same reaction we had in Batavia. So I found that was kind of interesting. One thing I would like to remind everybody, this coming Friday night is the Flags and Flannel dinner down at Abbey Farms, and that's the money is all used to help fund this grand monument that we hope to break ground for this year. And so if you're so inclined, the tickets are still available and are for sale. And the last thing I would like to say is that this March is an interesting month because it began yesterday on a Sunday. So that means there are 5 Mondays and Tuesdays in this month. And one of the things I would recommend to you, after my many years of experience, is I would recommend that you not meet on the 17th, which is the primary election night. That's always a very interesting night. I find that a lot of people get their attention taken away and whatever have you. And because we do have an extra Tuesday, the 31st, that I would suggest that you think about tomorrow night, talking about not having a meeting in 2 weeks on the 17th, and, just move everything back to the last 2 Tuesdays of the month, because you have 5 of them to pick from. And I would just share that as an observation, because in the past, we've tried to do some meetings on election nights, and it's been an attendance issue, and it's been a focus issue, and there's a bunch of other stuff going on. There's all this conversation floating around, and Mark Foster's sitting out there in the audience, and he's probably been through a couple of those with me over the years. It is not the best night of the month to have a meeting. When
The chairman of the committee of the whole is okay with that.
Oh, you're of canceling?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, a lot of
There's
our dance cards are full that night.
Yeah.
So.
There's enough Irishmen to have
Yeah.
majority.
It is a high holy day.
I wasn't going to bring that up. That's on your side of the table.
I saw that too, but I think I have to maintain public business here. So I think I got a good enough reason, but I would just say that the 17th should be a night that maybe you should take the pass and move it to the next 2, because you got 5 to choose from. I'm done. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Wolf, second by Alderman O'Brien. Clerk, take a voice vote.
All in favor?
Aye.